Hi there, my name is Elizabeth Hines from OurPaleoFamily.com blog. These are my kiddos. If you joined us last week, they were with us. I introduced them to you and then they scooted off to bed. This is
Luke.
And you are
11.
And this is
Kate.
And you are
9.
And behind the camera we have my husband Chris tonight. And tonight the kids are going to stay. They're going to cook with me. The last couple weeks we're talking all about paleo cooking, and we made chicken and we made fish sticks and salad. And tonight we're going to make treats, right? And if we have time, we're going to also make a yummy salad at the end. But we're going to start with dessert first, right? Okay, so again, I'm from OurPaleoFamily.com. That's my blog where I write all about how we eat paleo as a family. Keeps us healthy. And please be sure to like this KidCast page. There's so much great content here, and want to make sure you like that so you stay informed of what's coming up on KidCast. And so we're going to get started tonight. We're going to aim for 3 different recipes. We're going to start with some flourless chocolate brownies, but not just plain flourless chocolate brownies. We're going to make some strawberry whipped cream and make sort of like an ice cream sandwich with them. And then we're going to make, what's the second thing we're making?
Popcorn.
Popcorn, but not just regular popcorn. What kind of popcorn are we going to make?
Maple bacon.
Maple bacon popcorn. It is so good. We made it last week just for the heck of it. We wanted a snack, and we could not believe how yummy it was. We ate up the whole thing. So before you ask, no, popcorn is not paleo because corn is a grain. But we know through our years of eating paleo that some things that aren't technically paleo that we can eat a little bit of, and corn is one of those things. Kate, can you turn the oven on for me to 350? Bake 350 and then start. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start the brownies. So Kate's getting the oven on for us, and Luke is going to be my stirrer at the stove tonight. Make sure you hit the start button. Yep, see, the oven will beep at you if you don't do that. Okay, Kate, I want you to line the pan. Usually we make these flourless chocolate brownies in an 8x8 or a 9x9 baking dish, but because we want to make like an ice cream sandwich, we want them to be a little bit thinner. So I'm going to use, this is a quarter sheet pan. It has these nice sides. And we're going to put parchment paper on because I want to be able to get them out easily. Okay, can you sort of fold that so it fits down in there nicely? And Luke, you bring your pan over here. I want to load up your pan. If you're just joining us, we are cooking some paleo flourless chocolate brownies. If you have ever eaten in a restaurant, which you probably have, and needed a gluten-free dessert, chances are you had a choice of maybe ice cream or a flourless chocolate cake. They're really common these days. They're really good. But most of them in restaurants are made with lots of butter and lots of sugar and lots of eggs. And eggs are totally fine. We're good with the eggs. They're paleo food. But we don't want all that refined sugar, and we don't want, what's the other thing I said? Butter, because dairy is not good on paleo because it's inflammatory for a lot of people. So we're going to use coconut oil instead of the butter, and we're going to use a little maple syrup and some coconut sugar for our sweeteners. So Kate, I'm going to have you set this right here so that it just is a little bit out of the way. And we need a half a cup of coconut oil, and it's going to go right in here, and then Luke is going to stir this up on the stove so that it will melt. If you have just tuned in, I'd love to hear where you're from. My husband Chris is running the camera, and he will be reading the comments for me, so you can just type in where you're from. We'd love to say hello. Okay, so we got a half a cup of coconut oil in there and a cup of dark chocolate chips. If you're looking for a chocolate chip that doesn't have soy, it doesn't have dairy, this Enjoy Life brand is amazing. They make a lot of gluten-free products that you can find. They make cookies and other baking mixes, but we mostly just love their chocolate chips. We bake with them and we eat them straight out of the bag, and sometimes we eat so many that when we're ready to cook something, we don't have any left. But thankfully, I just bought some, so we're all set tonight. So we have our half a cup of coconut oil and our cup of chocolate chips, and they're mini, so they'll melt fast, which is nice. And we're also going to put in our maple syrup. Where is that? Okay, Luke, will you measure out for me? I'm doing everything. I'm not letting you do it. A 1/4 cup of maple syrup. Okay, I'm going to let you put that back on the counter behind me because we're all done with that, okay? You see the 1/4 cup on there? And then, Kate, we need a 1/4 cup of coconut sugar. So Luke's got my liquid measure, and Kate has my dry measure. Luke is a Boy Scout. He's good with fire, and he's learned how to use his knives safely, and so I can trust him at the stove, which is really great. He doesn't do it all the time, but he can cook his own breakfast, cook his own eggs, some sausage. I think that's about all he usually cooks at home, but I got to train him some more. One of my goals in life is to send my children out into the world being able to cook for themselves. I don't want them having to spend all their money on restaurant food, which isn't good for them anyway. That's great, Luke. You got it? Okay, so that's everything that needs to go in there. So carry that over to the stove and turn it on about medium, and just keep stirring that until it gets all melty. And then Kate, you're going to be my mixer lady. I'm going to put this behind. You maybe need a little help with the gas. Okay, all right, ready? Sometimes it's just tricky. This is a smaller burner, so it's a little bit closer to the high. Okay. Okay, so Kate is going to mix. So grab your mixer. So Luke has the coconut oil, chocolate chips, maple syrup, and coconut sugar. And Kate's going to do my eggs. Do you want to crack the eggs?
Mm-mm.
They don't like to crack the eggs because it gets on their hands. And I understand. You know, this is weird, but I smell my eggs. I got food poisoning one time. I'm pretty sure from tasting some raw egg batter, raw cake batter. And so I'm kind of paranoid about my eggs now. There was certainly a bad egg in it. But a bad egg smells bad. So if you ever wonder, how do I know if my egg is bad? You will know. It will smell really bad. So I just give it a little whiff. They don't smell like anything. So a good egg should not smell like anything. So we'll get those in the trash. Kate, what else should we add in there with the eggs? Do you remember? Did you notice that we're twins? Step right here. When I was little and we lived in Ohio, my parents owned a restaurant, and my mom made the aprons that everybody wore. And this one was hers. It was special because it had buttons and pockets. The regular employees didn't have buttons and pockets. And this one was mine. Can you believe that I was ever like this? So now my little mini me has my apron, and I have Mom's apron. And I have worn a hole in mine. I've just about gotten it worn out. But I thought I'd wear it tonight because I thought we were so cute being twinsies. Okay, so I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Can you put that in? Can you do both sides of that? Holding it and pouring? Look how you doing over there?
I think it's about 3/4 of the way down.
Oh, you know what? I have something different for you. Caters, that wasn't quite full, honey. You need to fill it all the way to the top, so squirt just a little bit extra in. Look, I'm going to give you this whisk that's flat, and it will kind of whisk and be a spatula at the same time. It's sort of magical. Yeah, you can put it behind. You got a full 2 teaspoons in there?
Yep.
Okay, and then we need a 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. So this isn't like hot chocolate, it's just straight up cocoa, which is really full of antioxidants. All the health experts now tell us that cocoa powder is good for us. So dig into the cocoa powder. All right, do you remember how to measure that and scrape it off so it is an even 1/4 cup? While she's doing that, I'm going to do the boring salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Get a little bit more in there and get it like overflowing, and then I'll use this little ledge to scrape it off. Are you seeing any comments on yours, honey?
We're good.
Okay, we're good. All right, so you got to pay attention where you're banging it, because if you're looking at yourself in the camera, then you don't see that you dumped half of your cocoa on the board, silly. Yes. All right, so now we have to start mixing. Now, what did I tell you about the mixer?
Keep it in the bowl.
Keep it in the bowl. We don't want to turn it on and have chocolate all over the ceiling. So I've turned it off, actually. This will get heavy in a second, but go ahead. Push this one that says run. So you want to mix this up until it's all, the cocoa's incorporated, your eggs start to get fluffy. You need to turn it up one. Maybe one more. The eggs aren't even broken up. You can still see the yolk hole in there.
This is about done.
It is. Is the coconut sugar all melted? So like there's nothing grainy? That's the grainy part.
Yeah, it's all melted.
Okay, and the chocolate's all melted?
Yeah.
Okay, well just keep it on there for a minute because Kate's not ready for you. We were too busy talking about our cute aprons and we're a little bit behind. So if you're just joining us, I'm Elizabeth Hines from OurPaleoFamily.com. You are watching us on the KidCast page on Facebook. Please be sure to like that page. You could cruise on over to my page, Our Paleo Family, and like us too. And the first couple shows, we talked about paleo. We talked about why we eat this way without grains and dairy and soy and refined sugars and all that good stuff, and how it keeps us healthy. And then last week we talked about paleo on a budget because it can be expensive. Turn it up one more for me, Kate. But we cooked all this healthy food the last couple times, chicken and fish. So tonight we're making flourless chocolate brownies, which we're going to turn into sort of like an ice cream sandwich with some strawberry whipped cream. And we're going to make maple bacon popcorn, and then maybe some salad at the end if we have time. All right, so let's stop it because we need to scrape it down. Okay, so set this up, but leave the little beaters sitting over you. Okay, scrape down the sides and get, you need a ponytail. I'm going to do your hair while you do this. I probably won't do it as cute as you do it, but I can't do a side braid, not right now. Scrape it down. Luke, just keep on whisking over there.
Okay.
Okay, so then you want to take it sideways like this. See that? And spin the bowl and get it all down in there because we need the cocoa all mixed in. That's a lot of the chocolate taste. All right, so I did that. So you go ahead and do it for me a few more times. Now I'm sticky. Okay, turn it up to about 4. Is this getting too heavy? Push it one more time. You're on 3. There we go. So what really holds this brownie together without any flour is the eggs and a little bit of sugar. So we want our eggs to have a little bit more body, so that's why we're beating them up. Go ahead and make it a little bit higher. We want to see if we can get them a little bit bubbly. Do it again. We just don't want it so high that it starts flinging out of there. You see there's some bubbles are starting to develop in there. Okay, Luke, are you all ready over there?
Yes.
Okay, so the tricky part about this next move is that we have raw eggs in here. We have a really hot liquid, and we don't want to end up with scrambled egg brownies. That would not be very tasty. No, not tasty at all. So somebody has to keep running the mixer while somebody else is pouring in. So who's going to mix and who's going to pour? You want to mix? Can you handle this? Let me turn it down. Let's turn it back to about 3. Okay? All right, and keep that going. So Luke, I'm going to pour it first, and then you can finish pouring, okay? All right, you turn the fire off. Okay, ready? So in this comes real slowly at first so we don't scramble our eggs. Try not to hit the pan. Try not to hit the pan. Stay on your side. Hey, Missy, stay on your side of the bowl. All right, let me pause for a second and we'll let that get all mixed in. You doing okay? Is it getting too heavy? It is? You want me to hold the mixer for a minute? Okay, then somebody else has to do this part. Oh, it's getting thick. I can tell. It's getting yummy. You see it's sort of glossy. All right, Luke, you ready? You don't have to pour it in quite so slowly now. Try to lift it. Yeah, okay. Good job. Okay, do you want to trade with me and you mix while I scrape out the pan? Because I know that pan's kind of heavy. Okay, you keep mixing. Switch places with me. You got it?
Got it.
All right, can you scoot, you want to switch back to the spatula. We want to get all of that yummy, yummy chocolatey goodness Kate, can you tell me what temperature the oven is? Is it ready for us yet? So if you just joined us, we're making some flourless chocolate brownies that are paleo. So they are free of grains and dairy and refined sugar and soy and all that yucky stuff that we don't want. It's $3.50. All right, perfect. And I think we're ready too. Luke, what I like to do just for good measure at the very end is just really turn it up and... Okay, so I think that's good. Now, we got chocolate on there, and we don't want that for the next thing we're going to make. Now, those eggs are pretty much cooked, and we know they're good because we smelled them, so you can lick these if you want, but it's going to drip. You got to lick fast. Ready? Okay. And then for the rest of the time, I'll be cooking by myself because they'll be busy licking their beaters. Just kidding. They're going to have to hurry and get that to me. All right, so I need to kind of fold this down. Working with this parchment in here is a little bit of a pain, but it'll make it really easy for my brownies to come out, and it will make my pan a lot easier to clean. So I'm just going to swirl around here. And these have to bake for 22 to 25 minutes. It's sort of like when you're making a pumpkin pie or a cheesecake, where you'll take it out and it'll have a little bit of jiggle in the middle. And if it's a little bit underdone, it's okay. It'll be like one of those molten lava cakes. And I know it's so yummy. You gotta keep your tongue in your mouth. Okay, so I spread this out. I told you I normally make this in an 8x8 or a 9x9 pan, but tonight I'm making it a little bit larger because I want them to be a little thinner so we can make sandwiches out of them, make twice as much. Okay, will you open the oven door for me? Alrighty, so in this goes. Who wants to set the timer? Who remembers how to set the timer? Okay, you remember how? So you hit the kitchen timer button.
And then how long?
22. And then the timer button again. Okay, assistant number 1, we need the cream out of the refrigerator. I left it in because we want it to be really cold. And where's my other mixer? Can you put this one in? You know what? Let's turn it off. Can you put that in?
Which one?
You put in this one. It doesn't really matter. So if you just joined us, I'm Elizabeth from OurPaleoFamily.com. I have my super chefs in the kitchen with me tonight, Luke and Kate, and we're cooking some yummy paleo treats. A lot of people say when they start eating paleo, they're afraid they're not going to be able to eat anything good anymore. They're going to miss all their favorite old treats. And there are so many paleo treat recipes. I know when I started eating paleo, I thought, you're supposed to eat dessert for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because there are so many paleo dessert recipes. And that is not right, is it? No, we should not eat dessert 3 times a day. But there are lots of good paleo dessert recipes. You will not be at a loss for sweets if you start eating paleo. But you take out the grains and all the refined sugars and the dairy, and I just pour cream in here. And then if you're having any sort of inflammatory problems, headaches, stomach upset, arthritis, this will really help following a paleo diet. Now, we are using cream because we have been eating paleo for a couple years, and we do okay with some dairy. I probably have much less than the rest of them, but they all indulge in quite a bit of dairy and do okay for now, but it's something that we pay attention to. Kate's tummy hurts from time to time, and we haven't really figured out why that is, but eating paleo definitely helps her. And when she starts to get kind of flared up and she's complaining more, then we pull back on the dairy and it goes away. So I'm not sure why it's okay for a period and then it's not, but it's something that we are constantly going back and forth with. Okay, so start whisking this really on low for me. I think I turned it off. Yeah. And then y'all take turns when your arm gets tired. You probably want to keep it on about 2. And I'm going to get some stevia to sweeten it with. I like stevia to sweeten my whipped cream because it dissolves so easily. Luke, I'm going to give you a job too, honey.
Okay.
I'm going to have you, I told you we're making strawberry whipped cream. We are going to cut these strawberries and then I'm going to have you mash them. Do you feel like you could cut some?
Okay.
Here's the cutting board. Okay, you're the star right now. I want to just cut them in my hand, but you can put them on the board and just cut them into, you know, just little chunks, okay? And then we'll smash them. So start cutting, and as you cut it, put it in, and then, actually I'll pull them all out. That way it's easier to see which ones you cut and which ones you haven't. Once you cut them, put them in the bowl, sweetie. You doing okay over there with Cream Lady?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're making some flourless chocolate brownies, which we're going to pop in the freezer as soon as they come out of the oven. And then we're going to cut them and we're going to stuff them with the strawberry whipped cream. Kate, it's splashing out. You've got to pay attention to what you're doing, okay? I know it is fun. This is my little actress here. She's done a couple drama classes. She says she's not dramatic, but those that know her best know that your arm is getting tired. Okay, I'll take it from you in just a second. Let me finish that one and rinse my fingers. This mixer does get really heavy. And really easy way to make whipped cream that's a lot faster actually than this is to use an immersion blender. So I used that last week to make mayonnaise. Some people call it a stick blender. And you just would put your cream in a jar and put your blender down and it makes it so fast. But I know that not a lot of people have that tool, so I did not use that tonight. I figure most people have a mixer. So if you're just joining us, I'm Elizabeth from OurPaleoFamily.com. You're watching us on KidCast. Make sure you like that page. And I have with me my super chefs tonight. This is...
Okay.
And what are we making tonight, kiddos? Speak up loud because my mixer's loud.
Brownie.
What kind of brownies?
Brownie sandwiches with whipped cream strawberry filling on the inside.
Okay, but are they regular old brownies? What kind of brownies are we making?
They're
Flourless chocolate brownies.
Flourless.
There are a lot of actually paleo brownie recipes that are really good, and most of them use some kind of butter, like almond butter, sun butter, which is made from sunflower seeds, cashew butter. But that's an ingredient that we often don't have laying around the house. So when I came up with this recipe, I was looking for a recipe that I could make that had pretty basic ingredients. And we've got coconut oil, chocolate chips, maple syrup, coconut sugar, which may be a little bit unusual, but I've built up my paleo pantry, and coconut sugar is something we have all the time. We have eggs, vanilla, cocoa powder, salt, and some chocolate chips. Luke, you want to do something for me? Okay, I'm going to toss in, this is about a tablespoon of stevia. I'm just going to put in a little bit of that at a time, and we're going to taste it, because one of the reasons I love to make my own whipped cream is that I can make it as sweet or not sweet as I want it. When you quit eating all the refined sugar, your taste buds will change, and things that didn't used to taste overly sweet to you will taste too sweet. So I'm going to crank that up. You know what they say is true: if you over-whip your whipped cream, it will turn into butter. And we homeschool, and we made butter in school one time. Do y'all remember that? It was a long time ago. Do you remember how we did it?
I think we just shook the jar a lot.
What was in the jar?
It was the whipping cream, right?
Yeah, it was the heavy whipping cream. And we shook it, and shook it, and shook it, and shook it. And then what happened?
It turned into butter.
Yeah, it's separated, right? So the butter fat formed a blob, and then the liquid separated out. And then we took that butter out and we mixed some salt into it. We probably ate it on crackers or bread at the time. I used to make homemade wheat bread, added gluten to my bread, so it was really yummy, like grocery store bread, which is really funny to me now. Kate, will you get out a couple little spoons for me? It looks good. There was something else I was wanting to do. Oh, I was going to have you chop up chocolate chips for me. I'll have you do that in just a second. Okay, we need to taste it, right, and see if it's sweet enough. I think it's sweet enough, but here's the thing. Our strawberries are not, I'm eating a strawberry, you caught me. So the strawberries aren't super sweet, so I'm going to put a little bit of the stevia on the strawberries, and I'm going to put the rest of this in here, and I'm going to whisk it in. And Kate, I'm going to have you come right here and mash these strawberries for me with my masher. And Luke, do you feel like chopping chocolate chips?
Okay.
Can you do it with that big knife, or do you want a smaller knife?
I think I want a smaller knife.
A smaller knife? Okay, choose the knife that you want. Okay. Now, this is, we have all dark chocolate in our brownie mix, and I like to just chop up some milk chocolate chips to put on top because I like the contrast of flavor, and they'll be kind of crunchy, and I forgot to do it before I put them in the oven, so we're going to do it real fast. But some people, I won't mention any names, have been eating these chocolate chips. There aren't very many of those left. So, okay, Luke, you choose the knife that you want. But I have some others here, and they're dark chocolate, but they're still big. See if you can chop those a little bit, and then we'll get them on our, start mashing. We'll toss them on our brownies real quick before they're done, so they still have a chance to kind of cook in a little bit. All right, I'm done with this. I'm going to move it out of the way. So we're making flourless chocolate paleo brownies, so we don't have dairy, and we don't have any grains or soy or anything like that. But then we are having dairy because we're making a whipped cream to go in the middle with mashed strawberries whipped in. I'm just about to the point where I can tell my whipped cream is not going to be happy with me. It's going to turn into butter. So I'm going to stop. So yummy. This is just like when we make strawberry jam in the spring, right? We didn't get to make our jam this year because we had so much rain here in Raleigh that the strawberry crop was not very good. Before we could get out to pick, they were done. Let me see. No, let's mash them more. Can you do it, or do you need me to do it? You keep doing it. Luke, are you doing okay? Mm-hmm. I'm going to grab the brownies out because I don't want them to totally harden up before we get those chocolate chips on. Are you getting it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep mashing. Do a couple more, Luke, and then we'll go ahead and sprinkle them on. Whoops. Okay, Kate, that looks great. Now I want you to, we're going to use that again in a few minutes. I want you to dump all those into the whipped cream and whisk it up. Or not whisk it, fold it together with the spatula there. You can put that bowl in the sink when you're done. Okay, I'm going to take this from you because the pan is hot, so I'm going to sprinkle these on. It has actually started to set up already because I have it so thin. That's okay. We will go ahead and put our extra chocolate on because we need that extra chocolate on there. Always need more chocolate. Okay, so I'm done with that. Let's get this back in the oven, and my timer says 13 more minutes, but it's not going to take 13 more minutes. Ooh, chocolatey hands. Okay, Kate, how are you doing with the whipped cream? Okay, do we have our little spoons? Let's taste the strawberry whipped cream.
Where'd my spoon go?
I'm sorry, you don't get to have any. If you lose your spoon, no whipped cream for you. It is so good. Oh my goodness, yum, 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 yum. Okay, y'all clean that for me. Let's put that in the fridge so it stays nice and cold. And let's start on our popcorn. So, does anybody make their own popcorn, or do we all just do microwave popcorn? Yeah, we did microwave popcorn for a long time, and then I inherited this amazing machine. This is called the Easy Corn Popper, and it has this hand crank, and it has this little paddle in the bottom. This belonged to my great aunt, so it's at least 100 years old, and it works so well. Now, if you have an electric stove, it'll take just a little bit longer, but with a gas stove, I just put my oil in the bottom, I put my corn kernels on top, and I turn it on high, and I have hot, fresh popcorn in like 2 or 3 minutes. It's faster than the microwave. The microwave took 5 to 6 minutes. So I love this. So, and they make these now. I think there's like a Whirly Pop, and I know I've seen Easy Popper too. So they make these that aren't 100 years old, but you can probably find these at flea markets and things. But we're not going to use this tonight because I know not everybody has this kind of contraption. But you don't want to use an air popper for this particular recipe. We're making maple bacon popcorn with Our Paleo Family on KidCast. I'm Elizabeth, this is Luke and Kate, and we have Chris behind the camera. We have some Flourless paleo brownies in the oven, and we have just made some strawberry whipped cream. So we're going to make some little sandwiches. And right now we're going to make maple bacon popcorn, and the bacon part comes from cooking the popcorn in bacon fat. So on the stove I have just a pan with high sides. You definitely want high sides. Can you see me over there, honey? Not quite. There we go. So I'm going to put a couple tablespoons, Luke, I need a spatula, buddy. A couple tablespoons of bacon fat. So we talked about the bacon fat last week, I think, when we were talking budget paleo, and that is not wasting anything. So if I'm spending the money to buy really good quality bacon that is from pigs raised without hormones and antibiotics, and there's a chocolate chip there. Ooh. We can't lose that chocolate chip. That would be disastrous. We want to make sure we use all of it, and that means saving the fat. I cook all my vegetables. I cook a lot of meat in my reserve bacon fat. And one of the best things we discovered, I think my dad told me that this is what his mom did, is we make our popcorn in the bacon fat, and it's so good. So yummy. So I'm going to turn my stove on about medium. I told you if I use my easy corn popper, this one, I turn it on high, but it's because I can stir that really well and keep it from burning. But with just a regular pan on the stove, you need a pan with a lid and enough space, about 1/3 of a cup of, I can't say corn kernels, that's a tongue twister.
Corn kernels.
We'll make about 4 to 5 cups of popped corn. So I've got a couple tablespoons of bacon fat. I'm going to pour in my corn kernels. About that much. I don't really like to measure. When I started this blog and had to write down recipes, that was the worst part of it for me because I don't like to measure. It takes a long time, and you know, you don't have to be exact with most recipes. You can just kind of wing it, and you can taste as you go. But I have learned I do have to measure sometimes. So I'm going to give you some accurate measurements. I have measured it, even though I'm kind of winging it tonight. So I'm going to just stir that around. You want your corn to be coated with the fat. It all will be as soon as it melts. And then we're going to put the lid on. And this will take about 5 minutes. It's kind of tricky because you don't want it too high because then it will burn. But if you have it too low, it will take forever and everybody will just die of hunger waiting for their popcorn. We don't want that to happen. So it's on about medium. This is not my biggest burner, so I'll turn it, it looks like about medium high. So that'll start popping. We'll be able to keep an eye on it with the lid, and I will kind of jiggle it a little bit. So as soon as that is done popping, we're going to bring it over here, and we're going to toss in maple sugar, which maple sugar is a paleo ingredient because it's just pure maple sugar that is in like a granulated form, and it's not processed or refined in any way. So it's a natural food. It has some elements, some trace elements that are not found in regular table sugar. So we're going to add that, and we're going to add some salt. And usually I buy what's called popcorn salt, and it'll be in the grocery store aisle with the popcorn. And it's really fine, but we were sampling this. We were testing this recipe this afternoon. My assistant said, we really should test it one more time, Mom. And I fell for it and said, okay. So we tested it one more time, and we used up all of our popcorn salt at that time. So we're going to put our regular just sea salt on there. And while that is going, we are going to get to our salad tonight, I think. We're going to make on my website it's called a fresh strawberry salad. But because we just used our strawberries and our whipped cream, we're going to make it with blueberries. And part of it, I think all salads need to have something creamy, something crunchy, something a little bit sweet, something a little bit salty. So we're going to caramelize some nuts in maple syrup. But I have a feeling that our brownies are done. So I'm going to check on them. Yeah, and look, they're doing this really funny thing. Scoop, honey. I don't want to burn. Let me close this up. Can you see this? It sort of makes mountains. It's puffed up, but they will go back down as soon as it cools. It won't stay puffy like that forever. So I'm going to just make sure there's room in the freezer for that in a good place because the bottom is hot right now. And Kate, I want you to get for me, this is the 1 tablespoon, and there's stevia in there, so we don't want it to be extra sweet. Let's dump that out. And I want you to put 2 tablespoons of maple syrup in this little skillet for me, okay? Can you do that? So it's 2 of those. Oops, I'm going to open this right in front of you, sweetie. I'm sorry. And I'm going to put these in the freezer so we can get to them faster. Got it? So I must admit I'm not very good about letting the kids help me cook because usually I'm in such a hurry and I don't want to take the time, but I need to take the time because they won't learn otherwise. Good job. So let's turn this on. Luke, you want to be my man at the stove again? Yes or no?
Yes.
This is a little bit warm because the oven was heating it up. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to pour in, I think my recipe says, I don't know, 1/4 cup of walnuts. Tonight I actually have pecans. It's just what I happen to have already. So I'm going to pour these in my maple syrup, and Luke is going to stir those around for us so they're totally coated. And then it's just going to cook, and it'll get sort of a hard crunch on the outside. We need a piece of parchment paper because when they come out, you need to lay them out on the parchment so they will harden and you'll be able to get them off. You don't want to let them harden in your skillet. You see the cameras behind you. Doo-doo-doo. Our cameraman's moving over. Okay. Our popcorn, can you see our popcorn? We're still going over here. We're not popping this yet, but it'll get there. We got to be patient. Okay, you keep your eyes on that. And I'm going to start on the salad dressing. Okay, so to make this salad dressing, it's super simple. I already washed these blueberries, but I did not pull off all the stems. If you buy fresh blueberries from your farmer's market, there will probably be some with stems. Have you ever picked blueberries? It is a very tedious process. I used to dog sit and house sit for a family that had a really big garden. They kind of helped ignite my love of gardening, and they had a lot of blueberry bushes, and the deer were jumping over the fence to get to the blueberries, and they had to put bird netting up because then the birds were eating the blueberries, and I don't know that those poor people ever got any blueberries. Okay, so that's about 1/2 cup, and I'm saving some because I'm going to sprinkle some on top. Kate, you want to come mash for me? So Kate's going to mash these up, and this is what we're making our salad dressing out of. So remember I told you I wanted something sweet, something salty, something crunchy, something kind of creamy on my salad. So my salad dressing is going to be part of the sweet. I've got my nuts caramelizing and some maple syrup, and they're going to be sweet and crunchy and salty because we're going to put a little sea salt on top. But we're going to get those all mashed up. Mash them up as well as you can. Like I said on my blog, OurPaleoFamily.com, this is listed as a strawberry salad, but you could use peaches. Peaches are in season right now. It would be really, really delicious.
So Lisa Ramos Felix, she says, I love her patience with the kids. Is paleo expensive to follow?
Is paleo expensive? You know what, it can be, but we really make it our mission to do it on a budget. Last week on the show I made some fish sticks with canned wild-caught salmon, which is about the most affordable way you can eat wild-caught fish, is out of a can. It's totally legit. It's really wild-caught. It's really fresh out of the ocean. It's not fresh, sorry. It was fresh when they put it in the can. But it's a couple dollars a pound instead of $15 to $16 a pound. We eat a lot of grass-fed ground beef instead of steaks. And one of my helpers has to take a bathroom break. Make sure you wash your hands. So yeah, it can be expensive, but you can do a lot of things to make it less expensive. And one of my biggest tips is you have to just eat everything you buy. So plan so that you eat everything that you are buying and not throwing things away. It's like we're making our popcorn tonight out of our reserved bacon fat. So using everything we buy and eat everything we buy. Plan for a leftover night. Luke is caramelizing some pecans for the top of our blueberry salad. And they're almost there, honey. And our popcorn, it's sort of sizzling in here, but it hasn't started to pop yet. I'm going to turn that up just a wee bit. Luke, let's let those go for about 2 more minutes. Will you watch your clock?
Okay.
I quit wearing a watch when my kids started wearing a watch. So I just asked them, what time is it? This one loves to set his timer, so he sets his timer for me all the time, which is really convenient. I'm going to stick my spoon in these blueberries and just see how sweet they are. Sometimes they're super sweet. Sometimes they're not very sweet at all. Those are pretty sweet. So all we want to add to this to make it a vinaigrette, we have some mashed blueberries. We're making a salad with a blueberry vinaigrette. If you wanted to make this a full, complete dinner, just grill some chicken or grill a piece of fish and stick that on top, and you have a complete, delicious dinner. You're not having to heat up your kitchen. So I put about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. You washed your hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I smell them? They don't smell like soap. Wash them right there. Why do we not wash our hands? We say we do. I know what the soap smells like, so I know what their hands should smell like when they come out of the bathroom. So I'm going to put some pepper in there. I love that balance of salty and sweet. So I've got a little dash of salt. The mustard is acidic. My balsamic vinegar is acidic. So I'm going to put just a little bit of vinegar. The recipe calls for about 1/8 of a cup, and then about twice that for the olive oil, so about 1/4 of a cup. Kate, you want to whisk for me while did I use this? Okay, it looks like I must just have some chocolate on it from the counter. You whisk, and I will pour in some olive oil. So in general, you want about twice as much oil as you do vinegar. In this case, we have the sweet, we have all that extra in there from the blueberries. Whisk that up for me, and then I'll taste it in just a second. Let me check on Luke's nuts over here. They look great, sweetie. Do you want me to pour it onto the parchment, or do you want to do it?
Can do it.
Okay. So I've got your parchment paper right here. So just dump those out. So if you've just joined us, I'm Elizabeth from OurPaleoFamily.com. I've got my kids in the kitchen with me tonight, and we have made some flourless chocolate brownies. Just put that back on the stove on one of the cool burners. Our flourless chocolate brownies that are paleo, because they are made with coconut oil and maple syrup instead of sugar and butter. They're in the freezer getting nice and cool for us, so we can turn them into sort of like an ice cream sandwich. But instead of ice cream, we whipped up some fresh whipped cream and stirred in some fresh strawberries. I just want to eat the bowl of whipped cream and strawberries. And now we have some popcorn on the stove. Oh, we have our first kernels popped. Okay, so we'll have to pause and pay attention to that. Luke has caramelized some pecans for me. Kate has made a salad dressing, and we're going to just make a delicious fresh blueberry salad. I'm going to taste the salad dressing. I think it's delicious, just like that. I would maybe put a little bit more vinegar in there, but I like my salad dressing kind of vinegary. So just taste. You know, when I give measurements for a recipe, unless it's baking, you really don't have to follow the instructions exactly. You can kind of just see what you like. So put in a little bit of the vinegar, and if you want more, you can always add more. If it gets too sweet, you can add a little more vinegar. If it gets too acidic, add a little more olive oil, and you'll be able to work it out. Just make it to your taste. Okay, my popcorn is popping, so I'm going to set my salad dressing to the side so we have a place for our popcorn pan to come right here. I think I took my sugar away. When we get our popcorn is cooking in my reserved bacon fat from my good healthy bacon, I'm going to pour some maple sugar on top and sprinkle it with salt. Good job shaking that. With the glass lid, we can kind of see when it's about done. And I would rather have a few kernels that aren't popped than end up with it burned, which when I make it in the pan like this, I'm really good at burning it. Don't laugh. But some people in this house love popcorn so much that they'll eat it even if it's burned. It's really convenient. They won't eat their vegetables if they're burned, but they'll eat the popcorn if it's burned. I'm going to step right behind my cameraman. You keep it on the popcorn. Turn it just a little bit there. Y'all can see it popping. I'm going to check on our brownies. we have made a mess. Now, when we cook together, who does the dishes?
You.
Yeah, is that fair?
Yes.
I think after we cook together that we should do the dishes together. How many times in your life has that happened that we've done the dishes together?
Let's see. About one.
I could think of once, yeah. So now that I think if you're old enough to handle the stove and a mixer, look at the camera. And yeah, so see those guilty eyes? I think if you can handle the fire and knives, that you can handle washing dishes. Don't you all agree?
No.
See, they're all on my side. I see yes, yes, yes. It's just popping up everywhere. Okay, speaking of popping, our popcorn is about done. I need a little hot pad thing because I don't want to burn my hand. It's so fun. Did y'all ever have the was it Jiffy Pop with the foil and it would puff up? I know y'all didn't have that. I think they still make it, but we've never had that. We should maybe get one when we go camping. You would put it over the stove and did y'all have that growing up?
Mm-hmm.
That's what my husband.
Yeah.
We peel it up and that's kind of what I feel like we're doing right here. It's so fun.
And you can do popcorn on camping trips.
Yeah, just right over the
Luke, tell
fire.
me what you did recently with popcorn camping.
Oh, I went to a Boy Scout summer camp and we made popcorn for the whole camp.
Which was how many people about, do you think?
I don't know.
A couple hundred people?
Yeah.
So their troop made popcorn for the whole camp. They didn't do it in a little pan like this, I don't think. They were popping popcorn all night.
It was with similar to what you have.
Oh, with this thing?
Yeah.
If you ever find one of these at a garage sale or antique sale, or even buy a newfangled version of it, this works great for popping corn. It's just a couple minutes on the stove and you have perfectly popped popcorn. Now it's slowing down. I can still see a few kernels in there. She says it's good. Now is it good because you're ready to eat it?
No, because I don't want any burned pieces.
Oh, she doesn't want any burned pieces. So we have to be really patient, but I think it is about done. I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to move it over here. Beep, beep, because we're getting up onto an hour and I want to finish this up. So we'll let that sit off the fire. That way we know it won't burn and the last few will pop. And I don't know why that bowl was there. I just was really well prepared, wasn't I? So we have our blueberry salad dressing and we won't use all of this. So I'm going to just pour, I guess I should use a clean spoon since I kept tasting with that one. So if you're just joining us, we're about finished. I'm Elizabeth from OurPaleoFamily.com. I have my kiddos. Luke, you're not in it right now. There's Luke and Kate, and they're helping me cook. Ever since they were little bitty, they would sit on the other side of the island, and we would have cooking school. But now they help me, which is really nice. We're working on getting them to help do the dishes, too. Yeah, it's not as fun, is it? So we have made some flourless chocolate brownies. We're going to bring those out in just a second. We've just made some popcorn. We're going to turn it into maple bacon popcorn. We've just cooked our corn in our reserve bacon fat. Now we're doing a blueberry salad. I've made a blueberry balsamic vinaigrette. And I'm going to put that in the bottom of my bowl. And then in goes all my salad greens. It's getting towards the end of the week. Usually I have some mixed greens, but all I have left at this point is spinach, but that's okay. I love spinach. So we'll toss in our fresh spinach, and then we finish that one up, and now we have more room in the fridge. That goes in the recycle bin. I want something creamy on my salad, so again, paleo does not include dairy, but our family knows that we can handle some dairy, so we put on a little feta. If you want to try some cheese, but don't think that cow's milk cheeses will work for you, a lot of people can handle goat cheese better than they can cow's milk. So consider some crumbled goat cheese. That would be really good. If you like a sharper flavor and can do dairy, blue cheese would be delicious. Let's taste these and make sure they're good. Lukey did an awesome job. They're crunchy, they're sweet, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top. Okay, I'm going to stir up the popcorn, and Kate, Luke's going to help me with that. Kate, will you crumble those nuts and put them on? I have about, this is hot. Will you get me a hot pad thing, please, Luke?
Whoa.
Yep, just crumble them up.
Yeah, you got to break it up. That's what you want, though, because if they're not crunchy and hard like that, that means you didn't cook them quite long enough, which would still be okay. They would just be more like caramel. They'd be a little bit harder to eat. Thanks, Luke. All right, so in comes my maple sugar. Usually I would pour my popcorn into a bowl to toss it with salt, but I really want the sugar to kind of melt on there. Luke, do you remember what you said when you first tasted this, what you thought it tasted like?
Kettle corn?
Kettle corn, yeah. Have you ever had kettle corn like at a fair when they're making it right out there in those big metal pans or kettles probably? It really tastes similar to that, but it has that little hint of smokiness because we cooked it in bacon fat, and the maple flavor. If you love like real maple syrup on your pancakes, you will love maple sugar. I usually buy mine online just because it's less expensive, but you can find it in some grocery stores, definitely in specialty stores. So I've got my maple sugar on there, and then we also need salt. Look how pretty that is. And then we're going to put some, can you sprinkle some more blueberries on? Make sure we don't get any stems, okay? So I'm going to sprinkle my salt. I said earlier I would usually use popcorn salt, which is extra fine, but we ran out this afternoon. So no popcorn salt, just regular sea salt. All right, Luke, you want to taste? Luke is my taster to tell me if I need more salt or not.
What?
Oh, do you want to taste too? But you're busy doing, that's not enough blueberries. Put some more blueberries on. It needs more salt, doesn't it? I'm afraid because it's not the fine salt that it's just all sinking to the bottom. Okay, so that's our maple bacon popcorn. We'll sprinkle a little more salt on. And we'll put this, oh, you want to taste. Okay, Kate, hold that up and show everybody the really pretty, Luke, watch out, honey, you're going to get burned. Show everybody the pretty salad. Now, out come our brownies. I didn't even show those to y'all. I just whisked them right away and put them in the refrigerator. Doesn't that look delicious? And we leave our dressing in the bottom so that everything doesn't get soggy. Then right when we're ready to eat, we toss it, and we have the extra dressing if you need some more. But I'll save that, and I'll mix it with some chicken, and it will be delicious. So here are our brownies. Let me take them out of the pan. Here we lined our pan with parchment. Look, I can just pull it right out, set it down, and it'll just peel away from the parchment. Wow. Kate, I need that little square spatula out of there. Can you get that for me? So these are soft because there's no flour in them. There's no gluten. But they definitely hold together. This one, sorry. There's a couple different kinds of spatulas, and I know that's confusing. If these were in the freezer longer, they would really freeze solid. I'm trying to finish us up. I'm going to make you a little one, okay? And we're going to slather it with some of that strawberry whipped cream. This is so good. You get to stay up late. You get to eat snacks at bedtime. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. Grabby, grabby, grabby. You see this delicious whipped cream with the strawberries blended in? It's real bright, so I don't know if y'all can see that. And then we'll just make our little sandwich. And the first one goes to Mommy. There you go, ladies first. Now it's going to ooze out. Tell me how it is. You got a little crunch because we have those extra chocolate chips we put on top. If I were just making these for me, maybe other adults, I would put some nuts in instead of extra chocolate chips. Luke, you don't want one, do you, honey? No, he doesn't want one. If he doesn't speak, he doesn't get any. This child went to preschool for a whole year and did not speak to the teacher. So he is definitely my more shy one. Do you want it?
Yes, please.
Yeah, there we go. All right, how is it?
Good.
Just good?
No.
Delicious. Do I get to have some? Does the cameraman get to have some?
No.
Okay, so I'm Elizabeth Hines from OurPaleoFamily.com. This is Luke and Kate, and they've been my assistants tonight. We eat paleo as a family because it keeps us healthy, and tonight we shared with you some really yummy paleo treats and then a healthy salad, though we did cook some nuts and maple syrup, but that's totally okay on the paleo diet. And I'll make a delicious, tasty salad that maybe even this one will eat, who doesn't like any sort of salad dressing. Do I have a bunch of brownie on the floor now? He's looking down. That's kind of scary. And my husband, Chris, on the camera. Thank you, honey. You've been watching on KidCast. Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like the KidCast page. They have so many awesome shows. And we look forward to talking with you again soon with some more great paleo recipes. Good night, everybody.